But the last Doujin game I played was actually one I really, really enjoyed, and that is Over the Dune, and this is also from the Kyoto University Microcomputer Club. However, when I went to their website, I could not find anything about it, really, outside of the fact that it was at Comiket 97, which is the one I went to. But yeah, it's like a rhythm RPG, and essentially you have a character that's like on the left side of the screen, and it's actually pretty complicated for what it is. So, or for essentially being a prototype. So essentially you have a series of cards in the top left corner, and those cards represent the number of actions you can do. So if you go to attack, you basically can attack by default 3 times, essentially. And when you attack, it's very kind of Paper Mario-ish. You gotta like time out the attack hits where it hits like a little, like within a little field or whatever. That's like the proper timing, right? And then depending on how many hits you do, you get different bonus points. So if you do a 3-hit combo, you get like an extra damage stack on top. So they kind of encourage you to use these in different sets of numbers. However, you can only go up to 5. So essentially, it's either a 3-hit combo or a 5-hit combo to do the most damage, because they have combo multipliers on top of those. Anything in between the 1, 2, and 4, those don't have any combo modifiers. They just have like a sequential modifier for you doing more hits, essentially. But and so yeah, and how you get these cards is essentially you have defense phases where you have to basically play a little mini game on the bottom of the screen, and each enemy has their own little pattern they attack you with. You could kind of maybe think of it a little bit like an Undertale, but it's a very much more straightforward rhythm game kind of thing. And when you block a hit, either you do a block, which just reduces the damage you take, or you do a perfect guard, which is, it's not called perfect guard, it's called perfect. But when you when you get a perfect, that actually gives you a card in your hand. So you have the 3 by default, and then if you get 2 perfects within a defense phase, you can do up to 5 actions with that. But then there's a couple other elements on top of this. One is that the bar you have at the bottom is, at least by default early on, is very thin to actually like time it into. So if you go into a defense stance, you actually get a larger bar down there. So you can basically increase the leniency of your timing on those actions. In my eyes, it's kind of somewhat required to some degree to do it properly. So what you can do instead of attack, or maybe you only want to use a partial of your cards for attacking, is you can basically either expel all of your cards or a part of your cards into a defense modifier. I think it's called dexterity in the game, actually. So you like funnel it off to like a temporary dexterity buff, and that gives you a larger time frame of which you can hit those perfects and you get more cards going forward. So obviously, if you have 4 cards or something like that, so you can't do like the 5 combo, but you can do a 3 combo. You might do like the 3 combo and then discard your other card for a little bit of a buff on your timing window or something like that. And then there's also another layer to this, which is the magic system. And so when you're defending attacks in the rhythm bar or whatever, there's actually like little symbols, and those symbols represent different types of magic. And for the majority of the demo, you only get 2 types of magic. So you basically choose between an attack magic or a heal magic, and then also you have to have 2 of them to cast, so you can actually mix them as well to get like it looks like an attack buff. I didn't like translate it or anything, but it looks like probably you get some kind of like attack, defense, or general stat buff or something like that. So you get, if you combine the 2 different spells, you get like a stat buff, or if you get 2 of the same spell, like the attack spell, you can do like a fireball attack or something. And then if you get 2 of the healing spell, then you can just heal yourself kind of thing. However, what's kind of interesting is that you can only hold 2 at once, and the button you press to absorb that magic as it comes to you is actually different from the typical beat button. So basically what happens is you'll be defending, these beats, and these different magic elements will come in, and then when you hit the different magic element, you'll absorb them. But if you have 2 magic elements, you can no longer absorb any. So if you hit the absorb button, it won't block the attack and you'll take the damage. So it's like, keep in mind how many spells are within your mana pool as well. And so like all these things kind of combined to just having like an interesting level of depth to it. Again, this is just like a prototype somebody did, but it like only has 1 song as well, but it's like really well produced. The presentation is nice. It is all like, sprite art kind of thing, and the characters are just like little stick figures or whatever. And the background is like a music visualizer where it like, bounces back and forth with like these little lines, as the music plays out. And there's still more layers to this. So when you finish a encounter where you fight these enemies, you you also get to put buffs into your stats, so you get strength stats, so your attacks do more damage. You get a dex stat, which increases your timing, so you can permanently increase the timing that you have. And then you also have a vitality, which increases the amount of health you have. And then you also have a psychic. I don't know what the psychic one does. It might be like a magic defense or just magic potency. I'm not quite sure on that, honestly. And then so throughout the matches, you get like 10 points after each one. You can dump some points in there. And then you do have like a heal as well, like a emergency heal, but for each run, you only have 3 of those heal cards. So, you ideally don't want to use them until, you absolutely need to. And thankfully, the game's very lenient on if you die, it basically starts you right back over from the start of that fight you were on. I was about to say song, but really it's all the same song. So, yeah, so I just did some digging around for this game, trying to figure out if I can find, the person who did it or whatever. I could not find anything else about it. Couldn't find a download link or anything like that either, which is a shame because it's really, really cool. I would love to see like what they could have done with the idea going further. I think I just like the idea of just rhythm games that have gameplay mechanics to them, but it's an awesome game.